I learned to sail this boat mostly with trial and error. Among all the minis, this is one of the more simple boats. There's no difficult lines or anything, so it works as pretty much as any other sailboat. And of course I was lucky also that in the beginning I sailed together with the previous owner of the boat, actually two of the previous owners, so they gave me some tricks and tips as well. And currently, while doing the project, I'm not working, but until I got more serious with the project, I was working in a climate technology company which was based in Estonia, but I was working remotely. So I was living in Barcelona and training there. But between the races and trainings, I lived in my van and worked on my laptop. I think I decided to do this race after having raced in crewed boats, and I was just very inspired about different solo sailors, and I started to look more into it. And there are some mini sailors from Estonia who I got in touch with, and quite quickly after talking with them, I realized that I think the mini class is something for me. How did I prepare? I think in this mini transat project, the hardest part is the preparation. There's so many different things that you have to take care of, which are also outside of the boat and outside of sailing, like finding the budget, the financing, and often the finances comes from sponsors, and sponsors, they need also some social media communication. So this sailing race is a much bigger project, and takes time and a lot of effort to arrive at this point. That's a good question. I think the biggest part has probably been related to discipline, knowing what hard training looks like, and they're not very comparable sports, so I don't really think the physical training is so similar, but more the mental part about it. So definitely this has given me a strong background. Plus, also physically, figure skating requires a lot of strength, so I think that's been very helpful on the boat as well. Most of my training was during racing. My preparation period wasn't very long, so I couldn't make my dates matched with the actual training times in the training center. So yeah, most of my experience came from while racing. I think the biggest technical problems have been related to electricity on board, which is very common because metal and wires, and they don't withstand salt water very well, and this boat is also older, so a lot of the connections and everything have been there for a long time. So finding if something happens with any of the electronics, like first of all, it's you need to find where it is, and then hopefully you have all the spares to fix it on land. And I think what has taught me the main thing that I've learned is that you should definitely know when you're going solo sailing. You should definitely know everything about your boat. Fortunately, these are small boats, so it's not that complicated, but it really is so important that you know all the electronics that you have on board, where the connections are, what kind of fuses you're using, etc. So you really need to know, because you don't have anyone to ask during the race. The time is very different in long distance racing like this. I still don't know how it's gonna be in the next leg because this is going to be very different from all the sailing that we've done so far. But I think it's important to, once you've made a decision about tactics, for example, you need to stick with it. You need to understand why you went for this, and if you decide to change something, like, you need to have a very clear understanding why you're doing what, because often, because of the tiredness and everything, your mind is not going to work how it's working on land. So being very clear with your thought process is important. A storm at sea. Yes, in the first leg I had very strong seasickness, and I am not sure where is it coming from, or depending on what, because sometimes the sea can be very rough and I have no problem with seasickness at all. But if that happens, yeah, it's not great, and you need to probably keep back with your racing and just take care of yourself first and make sure you get enough water in your body, and so not easy. But at the same time, I don't mind strong winds, because that's when I feel most focused. I feel like I'm being careful, and yeah, focused, I guess, is the right word. The time on the boat depends on the weather again, but when it's a calmer day, or let's say not a stormy day, I have a little checklist on my boat, because otherwise I might mix up days, so I want to make sure that I'm doing everything I have to do in one day. Simple things like brushing my teeth, eating breakfast. We also have the weather reports once a day, and then twice a day, or twice in 24 hours, we also have a radio check with support boats. And then I would say, like, the weather report and the weather analysis takes a good part of the afternoon, because first you get the information, then you write it down, and then you need to make your decisions based on that. And whenever I feel like it, I try to sleep. One thing that I realized in the last sailings as well is that the way you leave the pontoon sets the tone for the sailing as well. It's very important to make sure that you leave in good mood, you've talked with the people that you want, and not go sail alone when you've had a bad conflict with someone on land, or anything that might make you think more and more and more, and that would kind of bring your mood down. That is very, very important. But for me, I guess once I start spiraling there, I try to pin it down, put a stop, and often I just start to talk with myself because there is no one else to tell you that it's okay, calm down, it's not as bad. So you have to tell these things to yourself. And after a while, you kind of develop your own rhythm, your own little life on the boat, and then you don't have any outside influences that could affect your mood. So anything that you feel, it's coming from you, and usually you can also understand if it's okay. Maybe I didn't eat enough, maybe I didn't sleep enough, maybe something else, but it's always something related to you. At the moment I don't have children myself, so that makes it a lot easier. I have 4 sisters, and altogether I'm an aunt to 7 children, so I do miss my nieces and nephews a lot. And they've made me a little drawing book, and so things like this help overcome the missing part. But I am very fortunate to have my partner do the same race, so it's great to share this experience with him, and also to arrive to across the Atlantic and see him there, and it's a great experience that we can share together. That's a tough one. About myself, I think what I've learned is when I'm alone, I'm a lot more critical of myself, and that's something that I've been trying to change, because I've also realized that the things that come in my mind, they're not necessarily true. But for some reason, my mind starts to not be so confident in myself. So I think that's the main thing that I have realized during this solo sailing experience, and something that I try to improve as well, to appreciate more about my achievements and be happy and content with what I'm doing. I think for me, I will take a little break from sailing, at least from racing. It's been a very, very difficult 2 years, so I think I will need a little bit of a break. I will definitely keep sailing in some form, but I think in the near future I would like to share my experiences and learnings with other athletes or people who have set big goals, to help them navigate this route. I think that's something that I'd quite enjoy doing.